What's up, Team Diadem? We're back in the Courtside Sessions studio, getting ready to film a podcast episode with a very special guest today. We have KP Panu, one of Diadem's breakthrough tour players, here in the studio in Florida. So I'm very excited to dive in and learn a little bit about his career. Maybe we can get some tips and tricks for all the junior tennis players, parents, and coaches out there. So let's dive into it. KP, how you feeling today?
Great. Really happy to be back here at the HQ here in Florida, and yeah, let's do it, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, obviously, I think people could probably pick up that you have a little bit of an accent from New Zealand, right?
Yeah, born and raised in New Zealand, came over to the US on a tennis scholarship, 18 years old, and yeah, been living here ever since.
So I don't really know much about the New Zealand junior tennis community. What was it like growing up and playing tennis there?
Yeah, it was great. It's definitely a laid-back vibe. Just two small islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, so tennis isn't really a huge sport in New Zealand, but my mum played and got my sister and I into it, and yeah, fell in love early and never really had dreams, so to speak, of being a professional player. But yeah, was able to play enough and get good enough to get the scholarship to come over, and then from there, I was at a Division II school, so not the biggest program ever, but just started to really find my stride, and yeah, here I am.
That's awesome. What was the recruiting process like for you as an international player coming to play in America, talking to all the college coaches and everything?
Yeah, it was a little bit different. This was before UTR as well, so it was a little more difficult to gauge people's levels for the coaches, but my sister was at Columbus State University, and she's 2 years older than me, and so she had a relationship with the coach, and she basically told the coach, "I have a brother who's pretty good." At that point, I think I had maybe won some ITF junior stuff, but none of the higher level ITF junior stuff. But yeah, he gave me a chance, and yeah, I just fit right into the program and loved it, loved the college atmos, and yeah, that was kind of all she wrote.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's talk about that a little bit, because the college atmosphere is pretty cool. It's more of a team-oriented game, more exciting. People are cheering on the court. Did you find that you really enjoyed that and it helped your tennis? Definitely,
yeah. When you come together with a group of guys, there's camaraderie and a brotherhood, and yeah, it made it a lot more enjoyable playing for something bigger than myself. And yeah, I flourished in that environment. Waking up and doing the 6 a.m. gym sessions are tough, but when you have your mates there with you and you're kind of suffering together, definitely makes it more fun and more enjoyable. So there's nothing quite like college tennis, and yeah, highly recommend it to all the juniors out there who are looking for a pathway to maybe higher education or even professional tennis.
I love that. Let's talk a little bit about that moment when you're getting ready to play that match on such a big stage for the first time. What were you experiencing kind of like in your head during those moments before the match?
Yeah, I mean, I was obviously pretty nervous, but I had nothing to lose. I was just ready to enjoy the experience and no expectations. But yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. You have this 5-star hotel provided for you, amazing food, just the finest of everything. And so, yeah, I was really nervous, but I had my friends and family there, my college coach and teammates. So, yeah, it made life a little easier. And yeah, I had, like I said, no expectations. I was just, remember when I held serve for the first time, to go up 1-0, it was just a huge sigh of relief that I got a game, and things were looking all right. You go down early and it's tough, but yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but amazing at the same time.
I love that. And in those moments, is there anything that you do to kind of calm your nerves a little bit that maybe some of the junior players could take and apply to their game?
Yeah, definitely. I've been doing a lot of mindfulness training.
I love that.
And that really helps, being able to be aware that, oh, my heart rate's really high and I'm really tense. And then, being able to take some deep breaths, and at the changeover, put a towel over your head or whatever it is, I've seen a lot of pros with different approaches to how they handle things.
What's your approach, if you don't mind sharing?
Yeah,
that?
no, I mean, I have like a pre-match routine where, 30 minutes before I'll take like a cold shower and, read the little book I have of kind of what I'm trying to achieve that day, stuff I can control, and maybe a 1 or 2 minute meditation where I just like focus on my breath and visualize, and then I'll re-warm up. And it doesn't always work. Didn't really work for me that well these past few weeks, but yeah, it's good. It's helped me a lot, and the opportunities that I have had, to play some main draw events and Davis Cup, I felt like the moment hasn't been too big for me, and I give a lot of credit to my little pre-match routine that kind of calms me down and keeps my heart rate low, and it just helps a lot.
That's awesome. One of the things that you mentioned with your mindfulness approach is visualization. What does that look like for you? Because I think that's an important thing that junior players can apply on a daily basis, and something that I've heard a lot of the pros that we've had on the podcast talk about. So I'd love to hear what the visualization process looks like for you.
Yeah, it's a really powerful thing. For me, I just visualize how I want to carry myself on the court, between points, how fast am I walking, how's my posture, little things like that. And so if I can see it in my mind, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, but there's more of a chance that I'll be able to, achieve these things on the court. So I also try to visualize good outcomes, but more so the process of what could take me to the outcome. And yeah, it's huge. And I've heard a lot of amazing athletes like Conor McGregor talk about visualization, and when he was a builder in Ireland before he got into the UFC and everything, he visualized himself as a world champion. And I probably could do a better job at manifesting success and all these things, but it's a common theme that you see between all top athletes, where they visualize themselves.
I really hate to break up this episode with KP Panu, but I love giving you guys great deals, and we have a special one now. You can get 15% off all of our Elevate racket line, and that includes the Light, the Standard 98, and the Tour, the same rackets that KP uses. All you have to do is go to diademsports.com and enter code CSSKP at checkout. That's CSSKP at checkout for 15% off any of the Elevate V3 rackets. So I thought it was really cool that you mentioned Conor McGregor, and I know that a lot of tennis players kind of take inspiration from other professional athletes in other sports, or maybe celebrities, or those personalities out there. Is there anything that you take inspiration from in that realm that helps motivate you, or that you can learn from for your game?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big sports guy, so I'm always following sports, and love kind of idolizing Kobe and Conor, like I said before, I mean, there's so many great athletes that we can learn from, and I try to learn from. I take inspiration from a lot of different realms as well, but I think what I notice is there's always a similar theme, in the self-belief, and primarily just the self-belief, Kobe, Conor, LeBron, you name it, Federer, Djokovic, they all believe they're the best and they deserve to be there. And I think personally sometimes that's been a little bit tough for me, maybe because I never had dreams of being a pro growing up necessarily, and I went to a Division II college. I have to more so prove to myself that I can achieve my goals, or I can beat a top 150 player, or I can compete at the tour level, and then I believe it. But I take inspiration from a lot of different realms, and I think one keynote that everybody needs, no matter what you're trying to achieve, is you've got to believe it to your core, and that's the root of all the success.
100%. I love that. And I know we kind of talked a little bit about your experience at that first 250. It was a little glamorous in the nice hotel, but I would say that probably isn't your experience most of the time on the tour, right? It's a little bit more gritty than that. And I don't know if people at home really understand what the tour life is like for the players that aren't playing in every major and that kind of stuff. So I'd love to hear a little bit about what that experience has been for you.
Yeah, definitely builds character, I'll say that. But yeah, not many people know kind of what it means to be a professional tennis player, especially on the ATP Challenger Tour and the ITF Tour. It's not glamorous at all. Last week I played in a public park, in Palm Coast, and I'm playing first round for $150 and one ATP point, where I just came from Davis Cup and the Auckland 250, and it's hard to get up for all these matches, but that's the key and something I'm trying to get better at. But yeah, you're living out the suitcase. It's not glamorous and it's not for everyone. I've had a lot of friends try it and they're just like, man, I can't do it, and I don't blame them.
What do you think has separated you from some of those other players as you've kind of sustained a pretty lengthy career so far on the tour? What do you think has been your driving force to stick with it?
I would say you've got to enjoy the journey, not the destination. And it's kind of a profound little saying, but it's so true. I really enjoy the process. I enjoy training, I enjoy playing. The goal is to play Grand Slams, but if you are only focused on the destination, tennis, life, whatever you're doing, it'll just pass you by. And I think I saw something that Agassi said where, he got to #1 in the world, which was his dad's dream, his dream, and he felt empty, because he worked so hard his whole life to get to this thing that he thought would give him meaning and, make him feel special, but he got there and it didn't. And so I think it's just all about the process. If you're playing high school tennis, junior tennis, and you have these goals, of course you want to keep these goals in mind, but really it's the process that gets you there. And for me personally, playing a few years now on the not so glamorous side of tennis, you've really got to enjoy it and appreciate the journey.
Yeah, totally. And I think something that I've seen from your Instagram is that you're having a lot of fun along the way too, right? Traveling the world and getting to see those things. Is that something that you enjoy?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it's tough. I think when I'm done with tennis, I won't be traveling like I am. I'll be happy to be in one place. But yeah, it's a blessing. We get to travel the world and play a sport. Although at this point, a lot of us aren't making, a lot of money. My girlfriend's a lawyer, and so her grind is not what I want to do, and it puts it into perspective for me. She's working 9-10 hours a day, behind a computer, and I'm out here in Florida, playing tennis. So I think it's about perspective as well. You should count your blessings, and you should understand that we're very lucky to be playing a sport for a living, and there's more to life than money. And I think maybe my background growing up in New Zealand has helped me understand that, that it's not so much focus on materialistic things, but more lifestyle and family. So yeah, it's a blessing to be able to play tennis as a career.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear, and I think a lot of the juniors out there could find some inspiration from that. I think we'll kind of just wrap it up with a couple things that I'm curious about is what your fitness and nutrition looks like on tour, traveling around and trying to maintain a high level of fitness. Like what goes into that for you?
Yeah, it's got to be a lifestyle, so I mean definitely it's a diligent warm-up routine with a little bit of mobility and prehab stuff in there, and then during a tournament it's all about maintaining, so it's usually nothing too crazy, but you know, it's got to be gym and two sessions on the court's pretty standard for pro players, or at least gym and then one, you know, 2.5 hour session, something like that. And nutrition, I'm not too crazy, you know, I eat healthy, but I also lost a match yesterday and had Chick-fil-A after, you know, like.
Okay, that's awesome.
You gotta, like I said, enjoy the journey. Some players, you know, it's easy for them to just eat healthy full time, but for me, I've got to give myself some grace, and you'll learn that over time as you go. But yeah, definitely, it's a lifestyle, you know, even if you're not at a tournament. Are you going for runs? You know, are you just doing nothing? If you're doing nothing, then it's probably not going to work out too well in the end, but yeah.
Okay, I appreciate you sharing that. And the last thing is, where can people watch you play coming up in the next couple months? What's on the schedule?
Yeah, gonna go to Mexico to play some ATP Challenger events, and then in the summer of the US, try to sign in for the US Open swing that happens, Atlanta, Washington. So yeah, you can follow me on Instagram at KP Panu and just keep up with me there. But yeah, I'm really excited for this year, and I'm really hoping to, give it a crack and, you know, try to make the Grand Slam qualies. That's the goal.
100%. And I'm looking forward to tracking your success on the Breakthrough Tour with Diadem and everything that you have coming up this year. So first of all, I appreciate you taking your time to sit down with us. I know you're a busy guy, and we'll see you playing tennis here again pretty soon. But for everyone out there watching at home, we're going to wrap up this Courtside Sessions episode. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you to our production team here at Diadem, especially for all the work that he does to set this up and in the back end on chopping up the clips and everything. So stay tuned. More Courtside Sessions episodes are coming your way, guys. We're out of here.
Peace.